Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show that cuts through the noise and gets straight to the core of what you need to know. Think about your day so far. Did a shopping recommendation pop up online? Did your smart home device anticipate your needs? Perhaps you even drafted something with a generative AI tool for work. AI is profoundly integrated into our daily lives, often so seamlessly we don't even register it.
It really is astonishing how pervasive it's become. From healthcare diagnostics to how our social media feeds are curated, AI is constantly working behind the scenes. But simply using these tools, that's rapidly becoming insufficient.
Yeah, that's really the crux of it, isn't it? And that's why today we're doing a deep dive into a concept that's, well, gaining critical importance: AI literacy. This isn't just about knowing how to interact with AI, it's about truly understanding its mechanisms, engaging with it critically, and maybe even, shaping its evolution.
Exactly. And our mission in this deep dive is to distill what it fundamentally means to be AI literate, how that literacy is currently being taught, and crucially, how it's being measured.
Right.
We're drawing our insights from a really fascinating systematic review. It looked at 47 articles published just between 2019 and 2023. A comprehensive look into, AI literacy, conceptualization, constructs, and implementation and assessment efforts.
Okay, 47 articles, that's a solid base. So let's unpack this. Why does AI literacy matter so much right now? It feels like the world just keeps transforming faster and faster around us.
It really does. And what's fascinating here is AI applications boom, the demand shifts dramatically. It's just not enough anymore to be a passive consumer. You increasingly need to be an informed user, someone who can produce with AI and even contribute to its governance down the line.
So it's changing work too, I assume.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
AI is fundamentally reshaping the nature of work, which obviously demands new skills and, a critical understanding of these pretty complex systems.
And it's not just about landing a new job or picking up new skills, is it? It feels more like, a new form of digital citizenship.
That's a great way to put it.
I mean, we've all seen the headlines about inaccuracies or biases, especially with some of the generative AI tools out there.
Precisely. Having a critical understanding of privacy, ethical considerations, inherent biases, potential inaccuracies, it's all absolutely paramount.
Yeah.
And we connect this to the bigger picture. Being truly AI literate means considering the human labor involved, the vast financial resources, and even the significant environmental footprint behind all this AI use.
Wow, okay.
The review really highlights these as vital components for a truly informed perspective, not just the tech itself.
So if it's that important and multifaceted, how do we even begin to define something as broad as AI literacy? I imagine it's not a single neat definition, right? Given how widely AI touches our lives.
You're absolutely right. Pinning down one single definition is a challenge because AI's applications are just so expansive across so many fields.
Right.
However, Long and McGurko offer a widely accepted starting point. They describe AI literacy as basically the set of competencies you need to critically evaluate AI technologies, to communicate and collaborate effectively with AI, and use AI as a tool online, at home, in the workplace. It's essentially about becoming, like you said, a smart AI citizen.
That breaks it down nicely. So it's clearly not just about the pure technical know-how then.
Definitely not. Across various attempts at definition, some common threads emerge. There's usually a focus on general awareness, the practical ability to use AI, a strong social awareness regarding its impact, and a deeper understanding of AI's broader implications.
This sounds like a really comprehensive skill set. And the review actually identified 6 core constructs of AI literacy, which really helps break it down into digestible pieces.
Yes, that framework is really helpful.
We're talking about the ability to recognize, know, and understand, use and apply, evaluate, create, and navigate ethically. Let's maybe delve into each one.
Sounds good. So first up is recognize. This isn't just about spotting a robot,
Yeah.
It's more about developing an AI radar. Can you tell the difference between a tool that uses AI and one that doesn't? Can you identify AI working underneath the surface in everyday apps?
Like knowing if it's my smart speaker or just a timer I set?
Exactly. Or knowing when that online shopping recommendation is actually powered by AI, rather than just being a simple filter or something, seeing the hidden intelligence.
Okay, got it. So it's about seeing past the surface. Then there's know and understand. This one feels like the foundational knowledge, the underlying principles.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
This involves acquiring fundamental AI concepts, understanding how AI processes data, which is key, the basics of machine learning techniques, and recognizing the significant role humans play throughout AI development.
Yeah.
It's not magic.
Right. The human element, like understanding how sensors feed data to an AI, or how a machine learning model actually learns patterns from that data.
Precisely. Getting those core concepts down.
Okay, so once you understand AI, the next logical step seems to be actually doing something with it. That's where use and apply comes in the hands-on part.
That's it, the practical side.
Is that just basic tool operation, or does it go deeper, like integrating AI into workflows?
It's actually both. This construct covers the practical ability to use AI apps and tools, sure, but also to integrate AI concepts to accomplish tasks. Moving beyond just clicking buttons,
Yeah.
The review gives an example like training a simple AI model for image classification using user-friendly tools, maybe something like Teachable Machine.
Yeah.
It's about putting that knowledge into action.
Makes sense. Then we move to evaluate. This feels like where the critical thinking truly kicks in, like being an AI detective.
I like that, an AI detective. It absolutely is.
Right.
Evaluation is the critical skill to analyze and interpret AI outcomes.
Okay.
Can you spot potential biases? Can you assess the quality of the data an AI was trained on? Understand the inherent limitations of the algorithms?
Which are always there.
Always. It's about reflecting on how AI works, how data is collected and used, so you can form truly informed opinions rather than just accepting the outputs at face value.
Very important. And after evaluating, some might want to create. This sounds like it goes beyond just being a smart user, maybe venturing into building something new.
It does. Create involves the capacity to design and potentially even code AI applications or develop AI projects.
Oh.
However, it's worth noting that the review calls this a debatable construct.
Oh. How so?
Well, some studies see it as a separate, maybe higher order skill, not necessarily a core part of basic AI literacy for everyone.
Right, not everyone needs to be a developer.
Exactly. An example might be designing prototypes for real-world problems using AI solutions, even if they're just conceptual designs, not fully coded.
Gotcha. Finally, we have navigate ethically. This really brings in the broader societal implications of AI, which feels so crucial today.
Paramount. Absolutely paramount. It's about understanding the ethical dimensions of AI and its societal impact. We're talking human-centered considerations.
Like fairness, accountability.
Exactly. Fairness, accountability, transparency, safety. A truly AI-literate person engages in discussions about potential benefits and harms. They understand the importance of inclusivity and equitable access in AI development. It's the big picture stuff.
So we've established the what and why of AI literacy, which sounds pretty compelling. But the real challenge, and what this review digs into next, is the how. How are we actually, getting these crucial skills into people's hands?
Right, the implementation.
Who's learning, and what methods are proving most effective?
Well, the review found that the primary focus, and it's overwhelming, like 75% of the papers is on students.
Makes sense.
And that spans from really early childhood, pre-K, all the way through K-12 and into higher education.
Start them young. But it's not just students, is it? Are families and professionals also part of this push?
Oh, definitely not just students. There are also initiatives specifically designed for families, for teachers too, and a smaller but growing number targeting the general workforce, though maybe not enough for the workforce yet.
We'll come back to that. And what parts of AI literacy are getting the most attention in these programs? Do they cover all 6 constructs equally?
And not quite equally, no. The know and understand construct.
Yeah.
That appears most frequently.
The foundational knowledge.
Yep. Followed closely by use and apply, evaluate and navigate ethically. Interestingly, recognize is often sort of assumed or maybe taught implicitly.
And create.
Create consistently receives the least focus across the board.
That is interesting. So less emphasis on being able to build AI and more on understanding it, using it, and thinking critically about it. How does this look across different age groups? Like for really young kids, how do you even approach this?
Yeah, for early childhood, programs typically introduce AI robots and very basic concepts. Think simple cause and effect with a smart toy.
Okay.
But the review did note that while kids can grasp simple AI ideas, complex notions like data itself remain quite challenging for the very young ones. It's more about planting seeds of understanding, I suppose.
Makes sense. And K-12, is it all about coding from day one, or is there a different approach?
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Programming knowledge.
Yeah.
It's explicitly not seen as a prerequisite for learning core AI concepts in many K-12 settings.
Oh, wow. That's huge.
Isn't it? K-12 education often involves lesson plans, workshop curricula, things like the Day of AI resources, and a lot of design-based learning. Get them thinking like designers.
Cool.
And here's another surprising bit. Students' perceptions of AI can actually vary by socioeconomic status.
Really? How so?
Well, the research indicated that students from more affluent backgrounds sometimes showed greater skepticism towards AI.
Huh. Why do you think that is?
The paper didn't delve deeply into the why, but it really highlights the need for inclusive programs that consider different backgrounds and exposures.
Absolutely. That's a fascinating insight. What about higher education and adults then?
In higher ed, programs are popping up for university students across all sorts of disciplines, not just computer science majors. We're seeing it for humanities students, business students, even medical students.
Medical students. Interesting.
Yeah, and they, for instance, often reported a significant lack of prior exposure to AI, which seems critical given AI's role in medicine now.
Definitely.
And the review found something really encouraging. Just a single, well-designed course can significantly boost perceived AI literacy.
Just one course.
Yep. And it can dramatically reduce knowledge disparities, not just between CS and non-CS students, but even between genders.
That's incredible. That really challenges the idea that AI literacy needs years of intense technical training. Makes me think about how many people could benefit from even a basic introduction.
Totally.
And what about the general public and families? How are they engaging with AI literacy outside of formal education?
Well, for families and the public, things like interactive museum exhibits have proven highly effective. They improve understanding and just spark interest in AI.
Makes learning fun.
Exactly. And interestingly, AI art has been used as a kind of tool, a conversation starter, to get people talking about broader power structures related to AI, moving beyond just the tech itself.
Using art to discuss ethics and power. Clever. So it's clearly not always formal classroom settings. What teaching strategies are proving most effective overall, regardless of the age group?
Two things really stood out in the review: project-based learning, or PBL,
Right, learning by doing.
and flipped classrooms. They are consistently shown to be highly effective in fostering AI literacy and ethical awareness across various levels.
Why do you think those work so well?
Well, the hands-on application of AI concepts seems to have a really significant positive effect on understanding, evaluating, and ethical awareness. It makes it real, not just abstract theory.
That makes perfect sense. Hands-on learning tends to stick. So, looking at all these implementation efforts, what are the big trends and maybe the persistent challenges emerging?
Okay, one key trend is that the navigate ethically construct is definitely gaining more attention. That seems like a positive shift, right? A focus on broader societal impact.
Absolutely. It feels overdue, almost.
It does. However, despite its proven positive effect on learning, the create, construct, the building part remains significantly underrepresented in AI literacy programs overall.
Still more focus on using and understanding than building?
Seems that way for general literacy. And the biggest challenge, the review points to a really glaring gap, a lack of concentrated efforts to promote AI literacy within organizations and workplaces.
Back to the workforce point.
Exactly. This is a major challenge given how AI is just becoming ubiquitous across almost every industry. Imagine a company not prioritizing the kinds of missteps or missed opportunities they could face. Organizations really need to step up here.
Yeah, that gap feels critical to close. Okay, so we know what AI literacy is, more or less, and how it's being taught. The next logical step then is, how do we know if someone is AI literate? How is this actually being assessed?
Right assessment. It's crucial, obviously, for evaluating current literacy levels, identifying where the knowledge gaps are, and critically assessing the effectiveness of all those interventions and programs we just talked about. Without good assessment, we're flying blind a bit.
So what kind of instruments are being used? Are they like traditional tests or something different?
It's a mix. Most instruments, around 75% according to the review, are subjective. They rely on self-reporting, asking people how much they think they know.
Okay. Useful, but potentially biased.
Exactly. It can provide rich, descriptive data about perceived literacy, but yeah, it's prone to bias. People might overestimate or underestimate their skills.
Sure.
Objective instruments, on the other hand, involve more standardized measurements. They offer less bias, but typically cover a more limited scope of the constructs.
And you mentioned psychometric scales before.
Yes, many of these are psychometric scales, which is just a fancy way of saying they're scientifically designed tools to measure psychological traits or abilities, in this case, aspects of AI literacy, trying to do it reliably and validly.
Got it. Can you give us some examples of these assessment tools? What are they actually measuring?
Certainly. One mention is the Meta AI Literacy Scale, or MAILS, by Carolus and colleagues. It's pretty comprehensive, 34 items, subjective.
Okay.
And interestingly, their findings suggested that the CREATE construct might actually function as an independent factor, separate from the other core literacy components. Maybe more of a higher tier skill like we discussed.
Reinforcing that idea. What else?
Then there's the Artificial Intelligence Literacy Scale, or AILS, by Wang and colleagues. More concise, just 12 items, but it's a psychometric scale. And they found that usage, the practical application, was the most significant predictor of overall AI literacy.
Usage being the most significant predictor. That makes a lot of sense. Connecting back to the use and apply construct suggests practical engagement is a really strong indicator.
Absolutely. It implies doing is strongly linked to knowing, or at least feeling like you know. Lopsler and colleagues also developed a 38-item set for non-experts, covering all the core constructs, though the review noted it could perhaps be more concise. And then there are other tools designed for specific populations, like those medical students we mentioned, or K-12 students, often based on frameworks like the 5 big ideas in AI.
So different tools for different folks.
Pretty much. These scales try to tell us not just if someone knows about AI, but maybe how they're thinking about applying it or evaluating it. That's crucial for understanding real-world impact.
So what does all this mean for the future of assessing AI literacy? Where do we need to go from here?
Yeah, that's an important question for the field. The review really suggests a strong need for more robust, validated instruments. We need tools that are both general enough to compare across groups, but maybe also specific enough for certain domains, like medicine or education. There's clear potential to refine the existing tools, maybe reducing the number of questions to make them easier to use, and definitely validating them across more diverse contexts to get more accurate, reliable data that truly captures the nuances of AI literacy.
Makes sense. We need better measurement to know if the teaching is working.
Exactly.
And that pretty much wraps up our deep dive into AI literacy. We've unpacked this emerging and frankly critical field from its core components: recognize, know and understand, use and apply, evaluate, create, and navigate ethically,
The whole set.
to how it's currently being taught and measured across different age groups and professions. The goal ultimately is to equip you, the learner, with the knowledge and skills to really thrive in an increasingly AI-powered world.
And, if we connect this to the bigger picture, maybe consider this provocative thought to leave you with. We've seen that the most effective learning seems to happen through hands-on application, through real-world projects.
Right, the project-based learning.
So how might we revolutionize AI literacy education by taking it out of traditional classrooms and putting it directly into the context where AI is actually used?
Interesting. Learning on the job, almost.
Sort of. Moving from this top-down research approach to understanding AI literacy inductively from the ground up, what kinds of new literacies, maybe ones we haven't even named yet, might emerge when we truly examine how people are learning with and adapting to AI just naturally in their everyday lives and work?
That's a fascinating question. What does literacy look like in the wild? Something to definitely think about.